Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus The Riven Realms Into the Heart of Ruin. We're in Scrap Heap. We're trying to get our bearings. Excuse me, I hiccuped. We're gonna go to the Warrens here. The Warrens are the worst part of the dilapidated town of Scrap Heap. Great mounds of rubble and debris tower over the meandering dirt streets lined with decrepit hovels. Some inhabitants have taken to digging into trash piles and living in the holes in the ground. Ash covers these depressing peaks and valleys, but perhaps that is for the best, as these wretched inhabitants would best go unobserved. Visit the piles. The piles are the oldest heaps, mostly made up of rock and dirt. There's nothing of value here, they say, and so the hovels were abandoned or demolished to be rebuilt near more prospecting heaps. Have your crew comb them anyway. The crew is somewhat antagonistic towards the idea of scraping these waste piles for such small hope of gaining anything. You must admit there might be no point in doing this. The piles might be unclaimed, but the reason is that nothing valuable is supposed to have remained. A whole day of hard labor might be in vain. I'm gonna do it. I'm really good at scavenging, apparently. Success! 92 out of 100. Equal to or below the test difficulty of 99. Your crew proves all the wiser, at least this time. Despite toiling around in the ash and dirt all day, nothing of value or interest turns up. What? How do I succeed? And I still failed. Boo. I suppose if I failed, maybe somebody would have gotten crushed in a pile or something. Well, that was fun. Don't go to the Warrens, everybody. All right, to the Iron Tower. Walking up the Great Heap to the immense metallic tower is a daunting task. Up on the hill, it is even more difficult to breathe. Oh yeah, we talked about this. We petitioned for an audience with the Iron Guard's captain. This is a cool look. So many bone ladders. The two guards exchange looks when you announce your intent to see their captain, but they know better than to turn away a stranger who appears important. Either with that, or they have been instructed to grant you entrance. At any rate, they signal their brothers in arms inside the tower who then open the massive reinforced gate to you. You step in and an unbelievably tall guard takes you deep inside. There is not much that you can see from the ground floor, except what looks like a mess hall visible through an archway and a stairwell that leads up into the higher levels, but also down into unseen chambers and tunnels. You ascend, leaving the stairs on the first floor, and are escorted into a small chamber on the southern side. The guard tells you to wait, and while you do, you examine the crude weapons and trophies on the walls. Beast horns, iron spearheads, skulls, and reptile hides. Most of these objects are from former members of the guard. A familiar deep voice elucidates, and you turn to face the captain, who is now standing in the doorway. A man in his late 40s, you judge. He is tall and lean, with his dark hair already graying. We haven't been formally introduced to each other, he tells you, observing your features with his intense, cunning eyes. I am Colvern Adiris, captain of the Iron Guard. All very formal, I know. He flashes a friendly smile and shakes your hand while you introduce yourself. I admit that I already know this and that about you, Vagrus, the captain says and offers you a seat. Both of you sit down. It's my duty to know important people, even passerby, and whether you like it or not, your unique position makes you one. It's also my duty to defend the tower and the town, to play the regent until we can finally elect a new Heap King, or Queen. But since I've already said everything worth saying regarding all that at the funeral, I'd rather hear why you're here, or indeed if I can assist you in any way. What is with this chair? Is this a torture chamber? Do you see all the spikes pointing at it? That looks intense. You consider what you wish to ask him. Oh, I don't know if I want to offer any of this stuff yet. Well, let's discuss the election of the new king. Well, you heard me at the funeral, the Captain Vern says nonchalantly. In truth, there is not much else to say. This region has long suffered due to the unfortunate decisions of the late king. Perhaps you could see his reasons for doing what he did after the attempt on his life, but that doesn't mean you can sympathize with what he ended up doing to the people here. You ask the captain if by you he meant himself. He smiles faintly and shrugs. Who else can I speak for, right? Though the sentiment is shared by most in Scrap Heap, including the candidates, who each wish to amend the current predicament in their own ways. We'll see how that works. I should probably go introduce myself to them. You ask Captain Vern if he believes they can fulfill the guard's conditions to be crowned Heap King. It might surprise you, but I have no horse in this race, as the Imperials say, he states, which also means that I am not trying to pass judgments upon the candidates. Whoever has the skill and the will to overcome the many challenges this rulership requires will prove to the Iron Guard, including me, of course, that they are the right person for the job. Now, if I'm being honest, I have to add that since I've spent considerable time here in the tower in the company of several prominent candidates, thus I have sort of a feel for who among them shall prove themselves to be serious contenders, but I don't want to get into that. I wouldn't be fair to influence you in any way like that. Thoughtful, you ask the captain why he believes influencing you would matter. Come on now, he answers with a knowing grin. I know what Narbo is planning. He always has been a meddler, and this is his big opportunity. But I don't blame him. His enlightened self-interest might just make things better for everyone. Ask him if his intentions are as pure as he makes them sound. He remains silent for a while and then leans back in his chair. You tell me, he says at last, is wishing for the stability so that life and enterprise can go on pure? This region has seen so much bloodshed, madness, and cruelty that honestly it would be enough for the whole empire. I'm not one to glorify it or even easily accept it. In fact, I abhor its grime, the filth of it all. Yet there are people here, plenty of them, who are proof that the insanity that seems to infect most others can be warded off. It's something the guard under my command has been striving for. You tell the captain how it is then exceptionally ironic that the conditions he and the guard placed make it highly likely nobody would succeed, especially ending in their perpetual regency. Perhaps it's my endless optimism, or maybe my belief in people's greater capacity for grit in the face of unattainable power, but I think that one of these candidates will indeed pass the tests, he says after a moment of reflection. I have no way of proving this to you, and I don't expect you to believe me, but I am invested in someone succeeding. I don't want to do this indefinitely, too much responsibility for someone like me, but if you think I'm lying, think about this. What would, as you say, perpetual regency over a decrepit town with no prospects get me, or the guard? No, Vagrus. The only way out of this is that somebody can actually live up to the task and take the reins. I kind of understand where he's coming from. He set out the goals that are needed to get this town back on its feet, so that if anybody wants to be in charge, they have to go above and beyond to succeed. I get it. It's kind of cool. Talk about the candidates? I am open to discussing the candidates with you with certain limits, the captain offers. I know what Narbo's up to, but there's something to be said about the fairness of our election. The son and daughter? You mean his last surviving children, Captain Vern clarifies with a frown. There used to be many more potential heirs, but well, you can imagine how competition can become fierce in a place like our town. The last few years, it is only Atia Prima, the oldest daughter, and Vris, who likes to call himself Prince. You ask the captain which of the two is responsible for the seemingly excessive kinslaying. Well, well, he grins. No fooling you. The people of this town seem certain that Vris is responsible for every single dead sibling, and generally speaking, all that is wrong with Scrap Heap. Granted, his victims are many and diverse, and he did kill several of his brothers, but there are others who slew the old Heap King's children too, including the king himself. To my knowledge, Atia never raised her hand at her family, though. Nodding, you follow up asking why Captain Vern, why Atia is still alive, then? She is no fool, he says, with a soft smile. Of all the king's progeny, she has probably paid the most attention to her father while he cared for ruling. She's cautious, educated, considerate, and assertive. She also has several warriors from the guard loyal to her specifically, and they make sure that she's safe. Since she rarely ever leaves the premises, it has worked so far. You can seek her out here if you haven't already. I would love to meet her. I honestly think, like, of everybody I've seen so far, she's the best one of the lot. You posit that it might seem as passiveness and paranoia. True, especially compared to her brother. The captain nods in agreement. While Vris might be seen as a dangerous monster by many, he sure has been out there fighting, marauding, and getting his hands dirty. That has earned him a following of sorts for sure, though I'm uncertain if such rabble, for lack of better word, would do him any favors. But that's what he really knows. His late father sent him out into the mountains way back when, possibly with the intent of punishing him for kinslaying. It was just before my time. You could argue that it worked, though it also forged Vris into what he is today, and sent him on a journey to claim rulership. The captain spreads his arm theatrically, and there you have it, the surviving siblings. Let's discuss Sable Kara. Mistress Kara is most beloved here in the tower, the captain explains. She's always been kind to everyone, despite not always receiving the same care. As far as I can tell, her mind is set on forcing the people of the town to be more just, for things to become more fair, especially to the weak. Oh, this person seems cool too. Well, I can absolutely see why you'd want that. Heck, even appreciate the notion's purity. I don't see Scrap Heap changing so radically anytime soon. Nah, that's fair. You do have to be a little pragmatic about it. Kara's no fool, though, so I'm certain she knows this. How she's going to adjust her vision or how she'll make others see things the way she sees them is going to be interesting to witness. And then the crime boss, Decimus Kaput? I'm not exactly stoked. He said stoked, what a great name, or a great word. He's like a surfer bro. I'm not stoked, bro. That Decimus entered the fray, the captain tells you with a frown. He came here many years ago after his fellow Loaders Guild capos tried to have his head for something he'd done to them. I lack details, and honestly, the guard was not interested in his petty schemes until they, well, became less petty. Perhaps we should have paid more attention. Nothing to be done now, as Decimus is much too entrenched in the market, especially around Scrounger's Lane. I can't see his angle yet, but if you can say one thing about the man is that he's very resourceful. He might surprise us in the end, who knows? Alright, well... I think we're good for now. Do something else at the tower? Should we go visit Atia Prime while we're here? Prima? Atia Prime, she's a transformer. The guards of the tower are apprehensive at first, but when you mention Narbo as an ally as well as your discussion with the captain, they begrudgingly take you inside where you are brought into the same chamber you encountered the captain. You wait for the arrival of Atia Prima, who eventually arrives at with three vigilant Iron Guard warriors at her side and sits down at Vern's table. She is just like you remember her from the funeral, a well-built, perhaps even muscular woman in her 30s with green eyes and a serious countenance. Her auburn hair is braided in the imperial fashion, and her attire appears both fashionable and practical, combining elements of beige cloth, dark leather, and small metal armor plates. I am told you wish to talk to me, Atia says matter-of-factly. Apparently you already know who I am, so I'd like to know who I'm talking to, just to make this fair. You introduce yourself to Atia, telling her about your companion as a Vagrus, or occupation as a Vagrus, and your method of arrival to the region. She looks unimpressed. I hope that you understand. I believe in deeds that as opposed to words, even though the proper words are important, she tells you. So whatever you are peddling, whatever you wish to get from me, it is unlikely to go the way you think. Wishing to lay her suspicions to rest, you tell Atia Prima you wish to learn more about her since it stands to reason that she will rise to the Heap as the Heap Queen, and thus a mutually beneficial accord might be imminent. Fair enough, she tells you and nods politely. I shall endeavor to assist you in your quest for elucidation, but I make no promises. What would you like to know? Let's just ask her about what she plans to do, if she became queen. Atia Prima gives your question some thought before answering. The way I see it, my father began something that was to transform this region into a better place for its inhabitants. Now don't get me wrong, my father was a tyrant. I have no illusions about this. But I also firmly believe that such an iron grip was necessary for the formative decades of what has the potential to become a realm in its own right. My father, whether inadvertently or not, laid the foundation for us. It is now time to pick up where he left off and finish the work. You ask Atia to elaborate on what kind of future she has in mind for Scrap Heap. One in which we are no longer a barbaric fringe territory, but a proper province of the Empire. Or if not that, perhaps an independent realm with laws and a developing society. With hopes and prospects. You can see Atia's enthusiasm as her face flushes. Gone will be the savage tribulations of the people. Honest, hard-working folk will not have to suffer at the hands of brigands and cannibals, nor scrape by for morsels. We are sitting on a treasure trove of resources, but have failed to capitalize on it due to the constant infighting, instead of finally taming this wilderness. Atia calms down, regaining her usual cold composure. That is, should someone who cares to succeed my father. I like that. That's a good plan for thing. I don't know why I said it that way. Yeah, I'm down. I could see helping Atia. Let's go to the market district and we will check out... I don't want to seek out Decimus Kaput. I feel like he's gonna bother me. Oh, we went to the Dwarven thing before. Alright, let's go to the race stash. The race stash is a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street just beneath the imposing iron tower, but not quite under its immense shadow. A few frequent the establishment, which makes it perfect for Narbo and his little operation. Ash is flitting from the black sky as you cross the street and nod to the bouncer at the entrance. Once inside, your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern's interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminate the common room. Shadowy faces turn towards you and observe you through the smoke. The bartender, a thick-set old man in a dirty tunic, is chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs the skeleton of a large heap lizard on display. As you walk up to the bar and buy a drink, if only to fall into conversation with the bartender, asking about Narbo, you learn that the entrepreneur has his own back room, an office allegedly, in the stash, and just when he appears at the end of a corridor next to you. "Oi, Vagrus, you're here at last," he tells you and snaps his fingers at the barman. The old fellow frowns and whistles sharply over his shoulder. A voice from the kitchen confirms something to him, and in turn tells Narbo that the supper will be brought to him soon. "About fucking time," the entrepreneur growls. "Finish your drinks, Vagrus, and let's talk. We've got a lot to chat about." With that, he limps back to his chamber. You down your beverage, and soon enough, it's time to decide what to do. In the dim haze of the raised stash, you make out shadowy faces observing you over their cheap drinks, though few frequent the establishment at any hour of the day. We don't really need to buy booze for our crew. Get some rumors. We got Scavenger Gang rumors, okay. Pay a visit to Narbo in his back room. Alright. You walk down the short, dark corridor that opens just beside the bar and duck through a door with a curtain to enter Narbo's office. The small chamber is crammed with scrolls, ledgers, and parchments piled up on the floor and neatly lined on shelves covering most walls. The bright kelp lamplight still leaves the room dim lit, and the air is decidedly dingy, with no windows or other means of ventilation. Across the entrance sits the entrepreneur's desk, where he now sits, magnifying glass in hand. To your left is an old couch in the imperial style that Narbo invites you to sit on. When you do, he leans back in his chair with a grin. "Glad you're here at last," he offers. "Does that mean you're considering an alliance?" He chuckles. "I'm sorry I won't prod you. You'll let me know when you've decided, but know this, I can help you get up onto the mountain, and understand that even though I gave you the Manzio because I have a heart of gold, I can't afford to hand out alms. Speaking of which, are you settled in the Manzio? All's well?" You tell Narbo that the place will have to do. "Oh aye, it's better than most places in this miserable excuse of a town," he adds hastily. "I'm glad you're finding your footing, but let's get down to business. What do you want to talk about?" No, we've already kind of questioned him about this all this stuff. Let's discuss the plans he mentioned before. Of course, Narbo says, kneads his hand together. "We're much alike, you and I, Vagrus, and that's a good thing now. You'll soon see my proposition has great merit, but enough of me blathering, eh? Let's get to the proposition itself." Narbo leads on his desk, which creaks. He's unfazed by this, instead fixing you with his intense gaze. "I intend to put a candidate of my choice onto the throne, elevating the new Heap King," he says, slowly and deliberately. "Or Queen, whatever. The sovereign will then be indebted to me, and of course will offer me a position at court. One I'll use to advise the heck out of them. It's better to rule from behind someone else who takes all the blame, eh?" You nod and tell him that you thought as much. Then you ask him how he intends to influence the election to such a degree. "Simple," the entrepreneur says with a wide grin as he leans back in his impressive chair. "We pick a candidate, we do the work ourselves, and get rid of the rest of them. One way or another, the work includes getting a scavenger gang on board, ingratiating oneself to the town's important people, and getting some factions to sit down with the new administration to re-establish business. By my reckoning, nobody but us can achieve all this. You do the legwork while I coordinate and get the town on our side. Then we just hand over all of this to the candidate of our choosing." Nodding, you tell Narbo that this plan seems to involve you in a key position, yet you have not agreed to it. "What a keen observation," the man replies, chuckling. "Providing you agree, of course, and before you ask, I don't expect you to do this for the love of the people of this shithole. Just imagine what opportunities would be given to one who negotiates all this. What trade opportunities could a close advisor of the new king, yours truly, be able to procure? How wonderful the gratitude of your business partners will prove, and of course I'll also kit you out to go out the mountains and plunder its riches. So that's my proposition. Gonna take it or leave it." "Let's do it. I'm down." Narbo slaps his meaty hands together in excitement. That's the spirit, he says with a wide, toothless grin. I knew I could count on you. Like I said, we're much alike. We shall be kingmakers, you'll see. Of course, there's a long, tricky road ahead of us before we get to the good part. We can expect candidates doing crap on their own, but not much, to be honest. Out of the current lineup, and whoever else joins doesn't really matter. The only two that can possibly be seriously considered are the old king's progeny. Only they have sufficient power base. Everyone else is a joke. And those two will not be able to live up to Vern's requirements either, so I say we either pick Vriss or Atia. Luckily, though, we can postpone that decision. You can go visit them if you want to hear the view of the whole farce. One's holed up in the tower, while the other keeps terrorizing the market district. Who knows, maybe you'll learn something I don't know. You can do with the rest of them, but I doubt it'll benefit us in any way. Mistress Kara's in this very establishment, for instance. That capo lives around here, too. You ask him what he plans on doing about the rest of the candidates. Tell you what, the entrepreneur says after briefly considering your question. Why don't you go up into the mountain and see if one of those 3 less insane gangs can be reasoned with? In the meantime, I'll dig up stuff about the rest of them candidates and I'll come up with plans for all of them. Don't you worry. Raising an eyebrow, you ask Narbo what exactly he wants you to tell the gangs. Feel them out first, he explains. See if they're fed up with this crazy war for nothing and would rather work with us. With a new Heap King. Snoop around about him. See if one would fit us best. I suggest you seek out the Wasteland Stalkers and the Forum Trophies, the Sons of the Mountain at the Caverns of Karak, or the Hollow Men at the Bastion. One of them is bound to accept our proposition. Work with us to end the new sovereign when the time comes. Bring back the scrap, and we'll aid him with the other gangs. Well, you will. Nodding, you ask Narbo about the mountain. Aye, the mountain, he says somewhat reverently. To treat with the gangs, you gotta go up there. And that place is unlike anything you might have been to. No disrespect, Vagrus, I know you're well-traveled, but I saw too many veteran explorers and reputed Vagri perish up there to think otherwise. For that reason, I'll kit your crew out with some mountaineering equipment that'll aid you in climbing. Also, you won't be able to take many bodies with you on these excursions. And forget about your animals. No beasts of burden, I know, are meant to traverse these mountains, so just leave everything and everyone who ain't essential at the Manzio for the time being. I'll take care of them while you're gone. The entrepreneur then reaches back and takes a scroll off the shelf behind him. With a little in the way of cartography about the region of Varnarud, the easternmost part of the mountains, he says, unrolling the scroll and revealing a crude map of the mountains due west of Scrap Heap. You should copy it onto your own chart. It'll help you out with exploration, I'm sure. You spend the next hour or so poring over the map and meticulously copying its contents onto your chart. While you're at it, he showers you with all manner of knowledge about the mountains and their dangers. Now you've got a chart, gear, and a heading, he tells you when you're done. So there's only one matter that remains, how to get into Varnarud. Now the only feasible way up begins just north of town and it's called the Grind. Forget that, going up it is like grueling, harrowing experience unlike any other. It's also constantly patrolled and raided by the worst kind of scum. Luckily, some trustworthy fellas are working for me there, keeping an eye on things. If you want to go up, they'll take you as close to the old dwarven walls as possible, without running into said scum. Beyond that point, you're in Varnarud. Nodding, you ask Narbo where to find these people. Head to the northernmost tip of town and look for a fortified house with an orange banner bearing a 4-winged bird, he explains. They will know what to do. Cool. We already bought basic gear. Where were you, man? I'll come talk to Sable another time. And probably the other people as well. Let's go check out. Yep. They gave us the same gear. You know what? Let's hold on to it. Maybe it could get damaged. Couldn't be the worst thing to have a backup. Oh, we can get other people now. All right, let's get the full squad. Yeah, I like having a big army. And now we can have a second pack of supplies. Heck yeah. 6 days worth of supplies. We're golden. Cool. So we leave town. I have too many people. Got it. Stay in Scrap Heap. So we need back down to the amount of crew I had before. In that case, I kind of think maybe we leave the scouts here. Oh, I should have left them in the statio. Oh, I did. Good. I thought I was selling them back to here, but I was not. So I've taken 8 people out. Does that mean I need to remove fudge? I need to remove more people. I wonder if I put you on, because you guys don't matter. Because we don't have our Yerg mounts anymore, so maybe it's okay. To swap the stuff. Hunting chance. Cat? I do like the cat. I guess I put the cat in the miscellaneous spot. Yeah, we're not mining, so that doesn't really matter. Okay. Or do we have enough? Did I lose enough people? At 42, I need to drop 2 more dudes? And I have no movement, so that's a problem. Yeah, okay. Staying scrap heap, I need to drop 2 more people. What if I leave 2 fighters? Oh, perfect. Sweet. And then rest? And we don't want to work, because that's going to take some of our vigor. Good. Nadir has gained some vitality back. And then let's load up on supplies. Also, this is a brand new thing that the devs added a little while ago, that if you ever like change your squad around or you gather a bunch of resources and you can't carry it, you get this chance to mess around. Before, you were just forced to dump it on the ground, and it's like this really nice quality of life thing. I greatly applaud them for that. Your group of explorers is ready to leave for the mountains. Oh, wait. Can I change you guys? I swap to this. Mounts haul cargo. Can I use that, or are you gonna explain how I do that? Apparently I can't take any of them right now, so I think we're stuck with what we got. We already got awnings. Perimeter alarms? Oh, we could take that. Flea and beast defense. Or maybe we take skewers then. Oh, that's a beast of burden. Okay, we can at least use the perimeter alarms. Good. Anyway. Ascend the mountain of fire. You find the fortified house with the orange banner, just where Narbo said you would. A grim-faced man appears in the doorway, accompanied by a handful of burly bruisers. The tension disappears in a heartbeat once he learns that the entrepreneur sent you. You're the Vagrus who crossed the realms to visit our beloved crap heap, huh? Welcome, I'm Eric's. You also introduce yourself. Pleasure. Me and my boys will keep an eye out on the grind. Eric's turns northwest and points at the steep valley that leads up to the higher peaks and plateaus. Then people pay us to take them up without being seen by the gangs. Well, they used to be. Now, lucky for you, Narbo pays us now, so we'll be your very own guide when you want to go up or come down from Varnarud. It takes some time, so best be going as soon as we can. You tell Arx that you came prepared. Did you now? His rhetorical question hangs in the air. Alright, we waste no more time. Oh, and if you keep doing this in the future, you should know that we might end up at different places each time we ascend. Gotta avoid nasty things and nastier people, you see. That might take us along a different path each time, but worry not, Vagrus, you'll be in good hands. Arx carefully checks your equipment and then puts together a scouting party from his men that goes ahead. He then joins you and the expedition begins its ascent. You're expecting a harrowing experience, but nothing could have prepared you for the absolute suffering the grind is. The heat is more and more unbearable as you climb. The steepness of the valley is taking its toll, and the rocks are so sharp that you're covered in cuts and bruises by the time Eric's tells you that you have arrived. This is where we turn back, he tells you, his face covered in soot now, the same as yours. When you want to come off the mountain, be sure to come here, and we'll pick you up soon enough. Best of luck, Vagrus. With that, he and his scouts are gone. You now stand at the edge of Varnarud, the fiery wasteland. Ooh, transition! Cool! Neato! Gorge Town. Oh yeah, here we are. Okay. Should we go up onto this little hill here? I'm kind of thinking we want to make our way to Gorge Town. Right there. I also don't know where I'm going. Like, I don't have a heading. Maybe we should check out this tiny little tower up here. Or we've been ambushed immediately? Oh, the Twilight bats. I hate them. I fight you. Defend equally. Let's see here. Barricades, will that help us? Greatly. So we super barricade. And then we fight. Oh, 2 dudes got wounded. Oh, straight up killed. Oh no, that was Garrick. Garrick always gets wounded. Stand down, we don't need to chase them down. Give our dudes some time to heal up. Ah, both of them recovered, great. So it would suck to lose 2 of our guys immediately. Hey, and we got some food out of that. That's kind of baller. We got way too much food, you guys. Holy cow. We go back to normal eating. There's just way too much to carry. But honestly, like having maxed out food, that's fine. Outriders are mounted fighters. Well, we can't get mounts. I would love to use these. I don't know exactly how you do use them, but maybe to be determined. Yeah, we have to dump all this. Sorry. I don't know who I'm apologizing to, but here we are. To the tower? Yeah, we found a tower. You now stand half a mile away from the northernmost end of the ancient dwarven wall that spans the width of the grind. A bastion-like small fort clings to the cliffs where the walls meet the sheer rock face of the mountain. A hot wind blows from the south and west, and off the backs of the great mountains stretched out beneath the roiling sky, the fortress has seen better days, but even after a millennium, it is an imposing sight with dark walls and angular slits for windows. As you cross the jagged plateau and come closer to the cracked dwarven fort, you begin to see signs that the ruins are occupied, and you are mortified. Skulls of all shapes and sizes grin at you from stakes and atop rock piles. They are painted dark red, and you wonder if it is merely the imitation of blood or the viscous fluid of life itself. Similarly morbid effigies line the battlements of the fortress, including terribly mutilated corpses in varying states of decay. Then you hear the howls from the fortress, insane cries of pleasure and agony. It is difficult to gauge if someone is being tortured or great festivities are taking place, perhaps horrifyingly both. Now you know all too well who you will find in that fort, the cannibalistic lunatics that call themselves the Crimson Skull. You can expect no negotiation, no sense, and no communication, and no mercy. Let's leave them for now, and we will come back next time and go down into the Dwarven city below. So, if you guys enjoyed the episode, please click the like button, it helps me out a lot. If you want to see more episodes of Vagrus The Riven Realms or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel, make sure you have your notifications on so you know when the next videos go live. But until next time, everybody, I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!